Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio storyline went through some more turns this week, so we'll break it all down. We'll also check out what's going on with the Wyatts, AJ Lee, and more. Starting things off with what some fans are looking at as a potential AJ Lee teaser. AJ hasn't stepped foot inside the WWE ring since 2015, but her name started coming back in fan conversations ever since CM Punk made his return to WWE in 2023. Everyone figured that with all of WWE and Punk's issues officially being squashed, that opens up the door for maybe some future appearances from AJ Lee. The conversation around AJ's name caught even more fire and buzz over the last few weeks after Drew McIntyre stole a bracelet from CM Punk that had AJ's name on it. And with this bracelet getting constant attention on WWE television, and the constant reminder that AJ's name is right on there, it has fans wondering if there's any chance she makes a brief appearance during this feud. Well, to add even more buzz to this conversation, WWE themselves shared a very interesting post to their social media platforms that had fans booking some crazy scenarios. WWE took to Twitter to share a look back at the most shocking Money in the Bank moments of all time. The picture they used was from the 2012 Money in the Bank match when AJ threw John Cena off the ladder to stop him from winning. And everyone in the comment section of that post had the same fantasy booking scenario in their head. What if AJ Lee pulled off the same exact act again in 2024 to throw Drew McIntyre off the ladder and stop him from winning the Money in the Bank contract? The chances of actually seeing that happen are probably extremely low, but it really would have been a crazy moment for the feud. Drew McIntyre hospitalized CM Punk a few weeks back, so since Punk is unable to pop up this time around to screw Drew McIntyre over, it would actually be his wife, AJ, that handles the task this time around. It's her way of getting back at Drew McIntyre for what he did to CM Punk. And who knows? Maybe she would be able to take back that bracelet in the middle of all the madness as well. It would be so epic and funny because not only do we get to see AJ's long-awaited return, but somehow, someway, Drew McIntyre once again gets screwed out of another big match that he should have easily won. So it probably has no shot of actually happening, but WWE themselves really indirectly started up the conversation by using that specific 2012 picture of AJ Lee at Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre is currently the favorite to win the Money in the Bank contract, so assuming no crazy scenario like that takes place, he could walk out of Canada as Mr. Money in the Bank. Braun Strowman recently spoke with 10 Count Media, and the topic of Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six came up. Strowman said even though it warms his heart to see the group as a fan, as a competitor and WWE superstar, he said he hopes and prays to never cross paths with them. And that remark once again had fans' minds running wild with a lot of different fantasy booking scenarios and story ideas. Right now, Howdy's mission and goal appears to be clear. He's coming after anyone who has used their families for their own personal gain and abused them. But at some point, fans are wondering if Howdy will focus some attention not only on old Bray Wyatt rivals, but also on some individuals who were close allies to Bray Wyatt. And near the top of that list is Braun Strowman. Strowman became a Wyatt family member in 2015 and grew extremely close to Bray Wyatt. Bray and Braun even had a long detailed feud in 2020 that spent a lot of time reflecting on their deep bond and history with each other. So we're to assume that at some point, Uncle Howdy has to come after Braun Strowman, at least make an attempt of some sorts. Maybe it doesn't start off as being hostile. Maybe Howdy just wants to recruit Strowman back into the family. We see that Howdy has successfully recruited Eric Rowan. He probably wants to get another longtime Wyatt family member with Braun Strowman. But assuming that Braun Strowman initially denies Uncle Howdy's invitation, that's when things could get hostile. And that would be a cool feud to explore because obviously they could reflect on Strowman's history with the Wyatt family and make so many great callbacks to those days. And maybe that whole story could be about Uncle Howdy breaking down Strowman's mind until he finally gives in and joins them. We know Bray Wyatt's #1 approach when dealing with rivals was always to try and break them down mentally. So it would make a lot of sense if Uncle Howdy used that same approach when trying to capture and convert Braun Strowman back into being a Wyatt family member. So like we've been saying, the Wyatt Six is such a cool group because there's just so many potential stories and directions for them to go in. Liv Morgan and Dominik's story continue to go through some big ups and downs this week. The first big moment of the night came when Liv Morgan was busted in the Judgment Day's locker room, which is a big sign that the majority of the group is opening up to her, and her big goal of being welcomed in as a member could happen in the near future. But Dominik comes out during Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan's title match. Dominik said that his goal was to make sure Liv Morgan lost and how he was going to help Zelina Vega win. But in similar fashion to how Liv originally won the title over Becky Lynch, Dominik's plan backfires, and he accidentally ends up helping Liv Morgan win the match over Zelina Vega. Dominik storms out to the back, but Liv Morgan follows right behind him with words of praise for him. And then later in the night, Dominik had a big match with Rey Mysterio, and it was an important match because at that point, Dominik had lost 2 straight matches to Rey and was completely winless in general against Rey. So Liv Morgan, trying to repay Dominik for what he did earlier in the night, comes out and tries to get involved and help Dominik finally defeat Rey. There was even one moment where Dominik fell on top of Liv Morgan and she refused to let him go, which was a mirrored moment of what happened a few weeks back where Liv fell on top of Dominik. But Liv ends up doing the opposite of what Dominik did for her. She accidentally cost Dominik the match against Rey, and now Dominik has lost 3 straight matches to his father. Dominik once again stormed up the ramp, but with Liv Morgan begging and pleading with him not to be mad at her. And that's where their story left off at Raw. Liv had continued it by uploading pictures of them for Raw, even posting one picture of when Dominik fell on her, with a caption that read, "I think he's coming around." It looks like Liv's next big move here within this story is to get back in good graces again with Dominik. She was doing great up until this point. It looked like she was slowly making some progress on turning Dominik, but obviously costing Dominik this big win over his father is a massive blow to the progress she's made so far. So she'll have to act quickly and do something to erase that mistake and make it up to Dominik Mysterio in a big way. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.